Good afternoon, everybody. Woo! B-Side, NYC. Last talk of the day. I'm shocked really right now to see the amount of people here. I thought it'd be like 2, 3. Made them mainly out of pity, you know, but you're all here. Thank you. You could be anywhere else. But yeah, my name is Jeff Tomkowitz, and yeah, today I am here to talk to you about fortifying Active Directory, combating those misconfigurations, all right? So the talk here really is going to entail on an article that was released, or joint advisory released about a year ago from CISA and NSA on the top 10 common network misconfigurations they came across through a bunch of assessments. And yeah, how I came across this article was like the last about year or so, been on a real, like, I guess you could say epic journey, you know, really digging deep on Active Directory. I come from I fill a red team role here now currently. And obviously, through our training, we learn just to attack. Cool. But, there's other parts to, Active Directory, right? Setting it up maybe, playing around group policy, so many different parts, right? But I also want to learn like the defensive side as well. How do we prevent these attacks potentially here? And so, yeah, through my research in the article here, yeah, I came up with this talk. So, yeah, just to figure I'd share that. But as we all know, I mean, most of us know, any big organization, right, uses Active Directory. All your Fortune 500s, it's here to stay. We were just having a conversation outside here. Like, Active Directory is never going to go away. It may take other forms like, or Azure, whatever you want to call it now, Intra, some snazzy new name. But yeah, again, at the end of the day, it's never going to go away, unless you want to use Samba or whatever, So, yeah. Does anyone know anyone that's like actually done that? Like, nobody? Wendy May. Oh, really? Okay.
Years ago.
How many years ago? 10? 10? Okay.
20.
20, Jesus. All right. Yeah. All right. Kind of dated yourself there. That's okay. So, yeah. Everybody knows it. It's here. It's never going away. So, today, what are we going to talk about? First, I'm going to talk about myself a little, right? But I won't make that too long, promise. So I'll cover real quickly that joint advisory from NSA, CISA. Then we're going to get into number 1, all right, the top 10 here, right? That's default configurations of software and applications. We'll then roll into improper separation of user administrative privileges. Yeah, that's a thing. And here's the thing, folks. Like, I bet you some of you came in here today thinking, oh, I'm going to get this like really juicy technical talk, right? Some new stuff. No, I'm here to tell you now, these top 10 here, some of it's going to be pretty common stuff. It just shows that we're still doing this. So 3, insufficient internal network monitoring. That's going to be a hoot. You can laugh at that one. Lack of network segmentation. It's more frequent than you think. And then finally, we're going to roll into poor patch management, bypass of system access controls, weak or misconfigured MFA. Yes, MFA, favorite. Insufficient ACLs or access control lists, on network shares and services. Poor credential hygiene. Some unrestricted code execution. We're going to wrap it up with a little conclusion, Q&A. Cool. All right. So, a little introduction about myself. So, my name is Jeff Tomkowitz. Work for Fortune 40 Healthcare, Humana. So work out there, but I just started about a couple months ago as an offensive security engineer. I specialize network, penetration testing, Wi-Fi, all that stuff. Social engineering. I run our social engineering service line for our company. And then, physical covert entry, all that, woohoo, all that fun stuff. The sneaky. So enjoy it a lot. Before this, I was in the Air Force 20.5 years. Did military police, threat intel, not the cyber stuff, the other bad guy stuff, that type of thing. So, all right. What is next here? Oh, slide. All right, so let's talk about, this joint advisory. What happened last year? Some really cool things, I've learned while doing this talk. So again, October 2023, red and blue teams did an assessment together. And they came out with these top 10 most common misconfigurations. Some really cool things to note, okay, about this. Every time I've done this talk, after I get done, I talk with somebody that some way has had something to do with this advisory. So one of the more interesting things I did learn was both the red and blue teams, they got together, they swapped roles for 3 months. So, and learned each other's jobs. So, you know, the red team learned the blue team learned the red team's job, and they went out and did those assessments. And that is like awesome purple teaming to the extreme. Anyone here do purple teaming? Yeah, I love it. I like purple teaming. I think it's great, you know. Did an engagement not too long ago. And yeah, I really do enjoy it. It's just, you know, taking two things and making one awesome thing. So, with all that said though, they did highlight two big system weaknesses, excuse me. So first, all right, systematic weaknesses, okay, in large organizations that consider themselves mature. Okay, you're gonna see here some things, yeah, not so much, okay? So keep that, you know, in your heads. 2, software manufacturers from the start, when they're building these products, need to bake in security from the start, okay? Because this is giving defenders a problem, you know, big time. Especially when you're throwing things on the network, you know, and I'm gonna get in some things here where it shows, yeah, people are just throwing things on the network without checking, all that. It just creates a problem for all those defenders. So yeah, those are the biggest, you know, 2 trends there. All right, yeah, default configurations of software and applications, all right? So yeah, this happens when a lot of times, and I hope you folks don't work in orgs like this, you'll get products, computers, printers, whatever it is, and just throw them on there. Group policy, whatever, just throw that to the wind. I hope not, you know, but there's some places that this does happen, in fact, because I'm about to get in there. But yeah, sometimes they do this. Why? Because we're humans, we're lazy. We just love to throw it on there. But some of these other issues, you know, we're seeing default credentials, right? With some of these products we throw on there. All right, you do a little research and oh, wow, what do you know? This router has default creds of admin. You'll have legacy protocols and services like SMB version 1. Just, you know, sitting there, people are, yes, still using it. Yes. Well, I just said it, insecure SMB services. Okay, yeah, you're using that version 1, should be using a 2, you know. Active Directory certificate services. So what will happen is, yeah, a lot of these privileges will come with like, you know, highs admin privileges, but for the low-end user, the person in there, that's a no-go, you know, definitely not. So those are some of the things, you know, we can see in our definition. Now, during this, the assessment teams found the following there. A lot of insecure Active Directory services, all right? Not watching who or gets to, you know, actually issue these certificates, anything like that. Yeah, weak cryptographic algorithms, you know, they're using like SHA-1, whatever it is. Improper certificate revocation settings, so there's no way to like revocate these. Again, back with, they found a lot of insecure legacy protocols, all right? Your NTLM, your LM hashes, lack of Kerberos, stuff like that. And then again, I've been beating it over the head, and you're gonna probably hear it a few more times throughout this talk, but SMB version 1, and then just straight up open shares. You can just access them and grab whatever you want, have a good time. Maybe even leave a note for whoever. So, but yeah, they found this commonly over and over and over again. Again, organizations with a mature posture. So, hey, what can we do? What can we do to fix this though, right? So it's like, yeah, we presented a problem. Well, how do we fix it, right? So you want to use strong algorithms. Number 1, 256 or up. Restrict certificate templates, right? We want to make sure, you know, we have a standard, you know, certificate template. Only certain people can, you know, issue out certificates, stuff like that. You want to use revocation, right? Proper revocation. Online certificate status protocol, not the certification we all know and love, some of us. Excuse me, or a certification, you know, revocation list. Your certificate servers, where you're actually doing all this magic and all that, you want to isolate those things, right? You don't want them on your regular network. You want to segment them off, and we're going to get into that here a couple more into this, yeah, network segmentation. You then want to disable those legacy protocols, right? Get rid of SMB1, right? That's for suckers, all right? Use 2 or 3, you know, something like that. Remove those landman those hashes, right? You can configure that in group policy. Who was it here? I was talking about group policy. The sysadmin here. I saw, there she, yeah, you know what I'm talking about, yeah. You got anything to share with that? Have you seen anything or? I'm sorry to put you on the spot. I didn't mean to do that. My apologies. Don't worry about that. Sorry. I didn't, you don't have to answer that. Yeah. See? Okay. See, that's good. So yeah, so it's happening, all right? And then, of course, secure SMB versions, configurations. Yeah, right? Use at least a username, password to get in there, right? All right. Something. Any questions so far? Or? Cool. All right, so next, improper separation of user admin privileges. And I will have a copy of these slides after for folks who want. I'm going to put them on my GitHub, which you'll be provided a link and everything afterwards. But yeah, so principle of least privilege, right? This is where we want to make sure, like, if people we put on our networks, whatever, are given only the permissions needed to do their jobs and their jobs only. No more, all right? I wouldn't say no less, then they couldn't do their job, but so no more than that, all right? So what are some pitfalls? What can happen, right? Excessive privileges, right? We've all heard of scope creep, right? Or not scope creep, excuse me. Privilege creep, right? You maybe work in one section one day, a few months later you're over here and they didn't change any of your access and all. Maybe you work there for like 20 more years or so, and like time, it just adds on, and before you know it, why is this guy got the keys to the city, So it can happen. Shared accounts. Anyone encounter this? I haven't where I'm at, no. I'd hope not, But this does happen. Everyone gets an admin account. Why? This one. No. All right. Misuse of built-in groups, all right? Obviously, there's standard built-in groups, especially with Microsoft and everything, we're dealing with. All right, and then, hey, let's just use these accounts and everything. No, not a good idea, all right? Lack of monitoring and auditing. Oh, that's a beauty right there. And your guys are gonna hate me, but yeah, we are gonna get I'm gonna harp on policy and compliance and all that. It's the way the world works. We need it. But yeah, lack of monitoring and auditing. Things are not being done. People are not checking up. Doing their audits like they should, and then they get slapped with fines and all that good stuff. But yeah, so that's what I'm driving at here with this. So during these assessments, yeah, they kept finding accounts they could access with admin privileges. They use those to get inside the networks, move around. And yeah, they were able to compromise the whole domain in under a day. So, and this happened a few times, and it just wasn't with just one org, it was a few. So, hey, mature organization, right? Yay, security. All right, so what do we want to do here, okay, in order to fix this, right? We want to audit, those accounts, right? We want to make sure what privileges, who has what, okay? And we want to do this on the regular, all right? Depending on your company, I don't even know what mine is in the company here, but we have a whole section dedicated to that, identity access management, all that good stuff. So, but yeah, you want to regularly audit, right? To make sure no one has more than what they need. Training and awareness, right? We want to train our personnel, let them know, okay, here's what can happen, okay, if one person has one too many privileges or can access anywhere. One too many, There is such a thing, yes, I'll tell you this, I have S accounts, all that, it's a pain, having these additional accounts. It's not fun, it's more work, more stress, but yeah, we want to implement segmentation and isolation, right? So if we can, or have the money, budget and everything, yes, separate your networks, only certain people can access here. We'll put accounting over in here, these special servers over here, stuff like that. We want to use role-based access controls, all right. Administrative tier model. I was gonna say, should I draw this out? Are we gonna do a drawing? Whiteboard, all right, Wendy said so, everybody, all right. So let's go over to the administrative tier model real quick. Oh, I hope everyone can see this. We're gonna do big circles. Can everyone see that circle somewhat? All right, cool. Oh, this one's better. Oh, look at that. That's here. I'm gonna fix that one up. There we go. And then one more, okay. And so yeah, you have 1 or 0. It depends, but anyways, they're tiered, and importance of severity, all that. Okay, obviously 0. All right, you want people with your highest accesses there, and that's it. And then further out, depending on regular users here at number 2, and then maybe you got some important machines, accounts, whatever it is, that don't need as much, security or anything like that as, pretty much a zero tiered, something like that. Make sense? Just want to make sure everyone's tracking there. Like, what's that? Shoot, I might have to explain Kerberos later. And I will do it. Wendy's seeing me. All right, so yeah, that's what we typically want to do. Yeah, just enough administration to get your jobs done, all right? And then, pause our privileged access workstations, special workstations to do specific things only, that's it, and they're isolated off from everything else. I haven't really ran across those where I'm at, but they're out there, so. And sorry here, the slides here, but I will have a GitHub. Here's some, I will provide a GitHub with like PowerShell commands and all that you can do. You can audit, just get permission before you start running things on your network or whatever, but they'll be available after. But I did, identify users, with privileged Active Directory groups, stuff like that. That'll be all in there for you guys to look over. All right. This one here, okay. Yeah, insufficient network monitoring, all right. So yeah, right, we want to do a monitoring on our networks, right? We want to make sure, it serves a bunch of, or a couple main purposes, right? But we want to make sure we have eyes on, all right? But twofold mainly. Security and compliance, right? We want to be able to detect those threats. And then yes, compliance, okay? A lot of folks, I work in PCI, they want to see this stuff and make sure this is actually happening, because we don't, we get fined or whatever it is. There's, punishment. All right, then also operational insight, right? We can actually see how the network's performing, its health, we can troubleshoot and do whatever, okay? So it's very important. You guys ready? You're gonna love this. All right, so during these assessments, all right, they were going through, and yeah, there was a major gap they found with a few of these. Plenty of host-based monitoring, yeah, all over the place, but nothing monitoring the network itself. So it's like kind of like, all right, really odd. Yeah, when I read that, I had to read that a couple times. Like, what? This makes sense? Okay. So with that, though, they were able to get deep into these environments. Like in there, they were able to set up command and control, C2. Right? So they were doing their thing, set up, they're moving around, no noise whatsoever, nothing. Okay, they were doing whatever they wanted. They purposely started getting noisy, making noise. Hey, 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 we're here. Nothing. Silence. Weren't detected, So, yeah. I chuckle at this one. So, yeah, got plenty of host space, but not on the network itself. So what can we do? Obviously use, get some network monitoring going on, but yeah, tons of tools and techniques. Was it SIEM, SEMS? I hear different things from everywhere, but SIEM, yeah. Thank you.
Depends on who you talk to.
Right. Everywhere I go, it's always different. But yeah, security information and event management. Obviously, we all know Splunk is one of the big ones out there. People get mad when why are you get mad at me? Like, when I say that, Splunk. Yeah, obviously we want to use, network traffic analysis. There's tools for that. Endpoint detection and response, and event log monitoring. Is Kevin here? Oh, I was going to pick on him. Sir. Oh, I thought you had. All right. So yeah, monitoring those logs and all that, right? We do that in combination with the SIEMs, the SEMs, whatever you want to call them. So what do we want to do? We want to look for potential indicators of compromise, IOCs, right? Some of the things we can look there are unusual login activity. Well, why are these people logging in at 3 a.m.? I know they love work, but they got to sleep too. Changes to critical Active Directory groups, right? Why does this user now all of a sudden have enterprise admin? No. But, suspicious process activity, some processes they're running, why is this library being used or whatever it is, yeah. Changes in security and settings and policies, people getting access to GPO and they can make changes and, give themselves special accesses or whoever. So yeah, those are the things, we want to do. Questions so far? I mean, you guys are some of you are like, oh my God, it's really that, wow. Sir.
Why Splunk?
Oh, I just said that. I didn't say, it's not a, no. Oh, okay, yeah, no, it was just, it's one of the more popular ones. Sir.
Yeah, this is
something about, I don't know whether you have it in there, but something to do with service accounts.
Yes, if they're being used, and that's noisy. Yeah, you're gonna get caught 9 times out of 10 if you try that, but obviously look for it. Sir?
What's an example of an Active Directory specific monitoring tool?
Like a monitoring tool? Actually, good question. I got a list here. I knew that was gonna come up, see? Hold on here. Oop, did I went ahead there a little. 1 second here. I'm gonna put you on me. Boom. Yeah, so monitoring tools, yeah. Microsoft Advanced Threat Analytics, that's a really good one, or Microsoft ATA. Then there's Azure Advanced Threat Protection as well. And these are just standard. I mean, you can get them with a subscription with Azure and all that. Just more money. But yeah, those are a couple there you can use to. Any other questions? Sir?
Will you know that I'd suggest any tools to like benchmark, let's say, new environments, like let's say new Active Directories? Like, is there any tool that you can just like, just like audit at the beginning to give you maybe give you that description of the top things and what to do?
I mean, there are like special tools out there. I mean, there's scanners you can use, all sorts of stuff that will pull that up. Let me get my list here. I know I have a list here. So, like, are you talking about like looking at traffic itself or anything like that, or just vulnerabilities in general?
Like something that will just like the CIS benchmark is like.
Oh, okay. Like yeah, I mean, using stuff like that, yes, is going to help because especially your benchmarks. Like, I know what you're talking about. You get those on free online and everything. And I would incorporate those, yes, on its own with that. Yes, it's going to help you because, yeah, obviously it has your basics, taken inventory, all that stuff. So you're going to kind of know when you set up your Active Directory environment, okay, using my benchmarks there, it's going to match up and help correlate, making sure. So yeah, Cool. Any other questions?
Purple Knight, Pink Castle.
What was that?
Purple Knight and Pink Castle.
Purple Knight, Pink Castle. I want to write that down, and thank you. See, I always learn something from these. A Purple Knight, thank you. I'm going to probably throw that in there, so appreciate it. So yeah, there you go. Any others?
What about Bloodhound?
No, that's like...
It shows you your relationships and everything.
Yeah.
But that was back to the question about benchmarking.
Oh, okay, yes. Yeah, you could use that to... Actually, yeah, that's a good idea. You can find out, if there's any gaps or anything, like, I can get access through, these methods, these people and accounts. Yeah. Ma'am.
Okay, so I feel like I reliance on the tools. That whole doing that draft, but do I some
100%. That's what it's just basic stuff here. And if you have like a set methodology almost in your head, you could do this yourself manually, That's why I said PowerShell and stuff, scripts you can write up that could do this for you, And because, yeah, I'm in the same boat. I feel like you are. Less tools, more manual. Yeah, in a way, because that's how I am. More manual, less tools. Because, yeah, tools can really, I have some just personal stories where, yeah, tools you think would come through didn't, not so much. So it's always good to double check, confirm your results, with those tools.
A few red teams are actually used Pink Castle and Purple Knight text for as an initial step in there.
Okay.
Run their penetration testing.
Yeah, I'm going to look into that and myself. I'm really, piqued my curiosity.
What tools to grab, man.
Right, and that's, over time and, you're just going to figure it out, training, experience,
Right, just like reliable.
Yeah, yeah, tools itself, right, you don't know, right, the methodology behind it all, the why, or, yeah. Yeah, the tools are great and all, but yeah, I've always been manual, more manual. I'll get into maybe a story after, example why, but. So yeah, next, we have lack of network segmentation, all right? So this is like making sure we section off, whether it be our network into smaller pieces, and we do this through multiple, ways, all right? We can use firewalls, virtual, LAN or local area networks, stuff like that. All right, this helps us isolate and control, restrict, traffic going in if we don't want it to go in or coming out, whatever it may be. Right, so this show, it's very important, right? Why? Because, yeah, we want to isolate our critical systems. Remember how I mentioned the certificate servers and all that? We want to isolate those potentially. That's what I'm getting at. Containment of breaches potentially here, right? You can keep them in one network and not get into your others there if you're using proper segmentation.
It also works with identifying your endpoints.
Yes.
Say your security machine has one set of specific DNs, your devs, your all.
And you know where to look. Yeah, exactly. Good point. Thank you. Yeah. And then, yeah, access control, right? We can access who gets into this network, who doesn't. Pretty basic. All right. So, what do you guys think happened? Any?
Configuration everywhere.
Oh, yeah. A little worse. A little worse. You're there, but so despite the T or these organizations, like, yeah, we're good. We got segmentation. We're good. Yeah. No, they didn't. Flat networks galore. So yeah, they were able to get in. Yeah, they were able to find some special purpose forgotten connections they can make and easy peasy. So again, not doing those benchmarks like we discussed. Your inventory, out the door. So yeah, they were able to make connections and get into the network and have a good time. Now, I did kind of say, here, actually, let me get on the next slide here. Oh, all right. So how can we fix this, right? The administrative tier model, I talked about that, right? We use the use of VLAN subnets, firewalls, access control lists, ACLs, all right, privileged workstations, I mentioned that before. And then, yeah, network segmentation tools, all right? So here's the thing with that, because, yeah, this does happen. A little caveat with network segmentation. To actually, especially with mature organizations, I'm sure these are, huge organizations, to actually, segment your network properly and all, it takes a lot of time, money, personnel. And when I mean time, I'm not talking about a few months, years that in some cases. So to sit there and be like, it's like, what do you do? Should you have it? Yes, no doubt, you should, but some orgs are in a pinch because, yeah, it's a lot of money, time, and the right personnel to do all your architects, all that. So, yeah. So my heart bleeds a little, but just a little. Yeah, sorry, there was another, PowerShell command, but. All right, so next, we have poor patch management, all right? So, yeah, what are some impacts? All right, if we have outdated, software systems, all that, right? Obviously, number one, exploitation, right? You're running some old, software code, whatever, and yeah, you just look online, you type whatever it is, the version and all, and then exploit, and usually you're gonna find whatever you need. Obviously, that can lead to malware, ransomware. It can get really bad quick. So also there's operational issues, right? We're running old software, like stability issues, all right? Your system network can go down before you know it. And then good old compliance risks. The old compliance people come back. All right? Obviously, if they find out, yeah, this leads to a breach or whatever, you're running outdated software, whatever it is that led to it, you're in big trouble, right? So examples of this are good old Eternal Blue, all right? We're gonna see that in the next slide. And then zero login, another remote control, code execution vulnerability, but yeah, gets you the domain ad privileges. So what do you guys think next happened? Anyone want to take a wild stab what they found?
Everything is fully up to date.
Imagine, I got you guys. No. All right, so throughout this, yeah, I wanted to highlight, yeah, they found a lot of times where they found out, yeah, Eternal Blue there, yeah, MS 17010. And you would think, because it came out so a while ago, these systems wouldn't be, yeah, they found that a lot. You know what's really cool? I wouldn't say cool, I feel bad. Everyone wears Shodan? All right, the tool Shodan. If you go on Shodan and you type in that or whatever, you'll find computers and stuff that were ransomware. You can see the screen, the ransomware screen's pretty, it's cool but not cool. But thought I'd share that. So yeah, check that out. So what can we do? All right. We obviously want to, patch our stuff, right? There's tools we can use to, help with the management. All right. So yeah, some of the tools we can use, Microsoft Windows Server Update Services. And so yeah, this helps. If you're working in an enterprise, this is where you're going to encounter it. All right. You can push out large patches, whatever it is, throughout your enterprises. One tool. There's also third-party solutions like Avanti or Ivanti patch. And there's also SolarWinds. So, take that with a grain of salt, I'll let you insert your jokes, as you see fit. So obviously we want to verify that these patches went through all that when we're doing it. We want to test them, obviously, right, before we pump them out into prod. All right, test your patches out. I'm going to call him. I'll actually let him know. I called him out on this. So my former boss, he told me a story one day. Yeah, he didn't do this and he got canned. It was one of his first gigs, so he was a young man. But yeah, make sure you're validating and testing it out before you do. And because if you don't, you can lose your job. Yeah, security baseline and configuration management, right? So we want to build our security baselines, establish those. And obviously those configurations, but we want to review that over time, right? We want to go back as things change. Just don't set it up and later, go back, review, monitor, all right? And then obviously monitor reporting, right? Because we always have an eye on what's going on in our networks. And of course reporting, because our friends with compliance, want to see that, those reports. SOC 2, anybody? So, any questions so far? Sir.
Yes, I was just gonna say, also schedule, kind of bake in, an update schedule. So
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Later changes, and also we reading, so you have a rollback.
Yes. Rollback. Yes. Rollback. 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 Yes. Yes. Ma'am.
One of my favorites is reminding the users to restart the game computer when you've done.
No.
Mandated. You'll just send schedule it mandated. You'll get it done for
Start at 4.
Yeah, I'm bad at that too. I'll admit I'm bad restarting my guy. I usually wait till every Friday. Oh, done for the weekend. Later, it'll do it on its own now.
Well, you can configure it to reboot after a certain amount of days.
Yes.
Give them 7 days and then
Automatically do it.
And then you could send out an email and be like, if you don't do it, it's going to shut down. You'll lose all your stuff.
No, you're right. And I've noticed that sometimes when they do push some updates, because obviously it's important, they'll do it. Yeah, I've noticed that machine up. Oh, all right. And it's exactly that.
It's typically only for critical patches.
Yes. Sir.
So you have any suggestions on automatic custom patching and validation, like easy ways to script those? Because with, let's just say Microsoft Patch 2 days, there's so many X amount of multiple images, it makes it very hard to, and time consuming to validate each of those.
Do I have anything personal? No. Yeah, no. I've known people though that have written out PowerShell scripts, to do all that. But me personally, no. I mean, with my duties, not kind of required. I mean, it'd be pretty neat, but.
So you're lucky enough to have lower environments like Dev or a staging environment. You could test them there.
Yes, I would recommend that even. Yeah.
Also, that's another reason for smaller editor changes, so it's easier to fall back.
Right. Right. Yeah. You don't make all of those changes, and then you figure out, well, what was the issue? Which pet? You're right. Yeah.
For a smaller environment, I currently run. I'm unfortunate enough to have a very flat hardware profile, so the exact same model laptop or network or something like that. So what I just found is just push the patches on to up to 7 days, because usually Microsoft will identify and move that patch by that.
Right. All right. Very good. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Anybody else?
You could use Sherlock.
Sherlock. Yeah. Yep.
I mean, although pen testing tool.
Just be careful though, because if you got people incident response watching and all, man, I say that from experience, and I wasn't even using Sherlock. It just, you'll just ho hum, not think about it, and you have had the incident response. Hey, dude, what are you doing? Oh, my bad. Yeah. Or third parties that don't know what they're doing, and why that's another story for another day. If I had that Sherlock, incident response, it wasn't me, it was a third party. That's your Sherlock comment, with the Dory experience there, just had there. Someone got it. All right. So bypass of access controls, right? So that's when attackers can bypass those authentication methods if you have them. I mean, some people, as you see with the SMB version or OpenShare, they didn't. But obviously, there's common methods that can do that. Okay, we have our pass the hash attacks, pass the ticket attacks. We got golden, sapphire, diamond, silver ticket attacks. Is there a sapphire? I think no. There is a sapphire. I'm waiting for a platinum to come out. But I'm sure soon enough. DC shadow attacks, right? We can replicate our DC. I'll get into it, Wendy. Thank you. Credential dumping, right? So, and then exploiting, misconfigurations, right? People, again, through group policy, people have accesses and you can navigate around. So here we go, and we're gonna get into curb roasting real quick. So throughout that, they were able to mimic accounts, get access, mimic. They were able to expand and get through their internal networks, no problem. Their number one method, curb roasting, was used, was the most time efficient way to elevate those privileges and allowed for them to move internally, externally, internally within the networks. Who here has an understanding of curb roast? All right, cool to people. Who here wants to learn real quick about curb roast? Show of hands. All right, the majority wins. All right, folks. Now, we're gonna make this real quick, promise, but get everybody, understand. Who here knows about MoviePass? Remember MoviePass? You could go see movies, with that little card and everything. It was great until they went under, The business model didn't make sense for those of you who don't know about it. Anyways, that's what I'm gonna use for my reference here. So, there's a little computer here. Oh God, I hope all of you can see this. There's me, okay. Let's just say I'm having a good day on my computer. We got a server here. Oh boy. Okay, and then we'll just do the service itself here. And then, it's a little server. It looks like server, right? Some ventilation. A little button there, a little button there. So it's our KDC. Ooh. Yeah. And then the service itself. Okay. We're trying to access. All right, so let's say, okay, what's the new hot movie right now in theaters? Beetlejuice. What's that? Beetlejuice? Yeah, Beetlejuice. Yes, I saw that with my daughter. Really good. I enjoyed it. Now, let's say, okay, I want to go see Beetlejuice, all right? Cool. So with MoviePass, what you do is, I want to see a movie. You go to MoviePass and be like, hey, I have an account with you guys. I want to see this movie. They in turn be like, oh yeah, you have an account with us. Cool. We'll give you a movie ticket. You go to the theater, and then, the theater sees it. Cool. So let's think about this, all right? It's me. I want to go see Beetlejuice, or I want to access this service. Okay, well, I just can't access it directly. No, that's not good security. Imagine, yeah, sure. But first, I have to check in with the key distribution center, okay, and say, hey, okay, think of this as like MoviePass themselves, saying, hey, I want to see Beetlejuice. But in this case, I want to access this service. So what's going to happen essentially is we're going to go back and forth, and I don't got time to get into specifics, but we're going to go back and forth. I'm going to prove that I am, and they're going to give me a ticket granting ticket. Okay, so this is going to allow me to essentially, access the service or so. I've been checked, verified, all that good stuff. All right, so think in the sense I went to MoviePass and they were like, yeah, you're good, man. You have an account. Here's your little ticket for Beetlejuice. Sweet, all right? So now the time has come. I got my popcorn, all that. I'm ready, I'm going to go to the theater. I want to see Beetlejuice. So now, in this case, I want to get to this service, okay? So now with my ticket granting ticket, I'm gonna go, hey, I'm here, I wanna see Beetlejuice. I hope you folks can see this, cool. So they're gonna say, okay, well, I wanna see everything here. You good, Yeah, I'm good. I went to MoviePass, So they're gonna check out everything and they're gonna, okay, make sure I do have access, to this service from the ticket granting target. And they'll give me a ticket granting TGS, ticket granting service for that. So they'll check that all out, and the service itself will make sure, okay, we'll determine what I'm authorized to. The KDC does not do that, okay? Just wanted to clarify. They will determine where I can like access what I specifically want. So that in a nutshell is Kerberos. You know? There's a lot more to it, more specifics, you know, with the tickets and everything, but for time and a high up level, wanted to make sure. Everyone tracking? All right, so now with Kerberosting, what we're doing is we're tricking the KDC to just give us the TGT, the ticket granting ticket. We're taking that offline, we're gonna crack it, you know, with a cracking rig. You know, if we got money, yeah, we're gonna have a diesel server or a cloud instance, and yeah, we're gonna try and crack that password. And because what will happen then is we crack that password, we have the keys to the city, essentially. We can access whatever services, you know, and do whatever we want. I'll tell you this, it is loud. Loud, loud, loud. Good luck getting this attack done, you know, nowadays. Could happen, yes, you know, in some cases, as you can see. But yeah, it's very loud. Yeah.
So you end up getting, with Kerberosting, I think you end up getting the services password, right? Like,
Well, you're getting the ticket allowing you, it's all encrypted and all that. It's not like,
like the NTLM password hash of the services, right? With Kerberosting, I think?
wait, repeat that again. Sorry, yeah, my brain is like, yeah,
Sorry, so you
no,
end
no.
up- No, so you end up getting like the password for the services, right? You get the password for the service that creates CGS tickets. That's what.
Yes, when you're cracking it, yes, the Kerberos. Yep, yeah. So you're getting the keys, like you can go anywhere almost.
services
Yeah.
specifically.
Services, yes, services. Yep.
It's like golden tickets as well.
Right. And yeah, the other ones like you mentioned, like silver, will allow you to a specific service, right? Where golden or TGT, you're granting, yeah, everything with your, you know, keys to the city. The golden ticket, excuse me, yeah.
That leads me to the next question is,
Sure.
the Kerberos CGT password,
Mhm.
NTLM password, that's like the most trusted thing in the Active Directory.
Yeah.
So then if someone gets that, isn't that insecure by design then? Like I could end up getting the password and then creating like as many tickets to anything I want to.
Right.
Is there any mitigation for that? Like
Nowadays, if you do it though, it's loud, you're gonna get detected. Because, you know, incident responder, whoever, SOC's gonna be watching that. You know, why is this service, why is this going on?
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna like look into that. I mean, if you have a mature, like really mature, not like what we saw up there, but yeah, they should be able to detect that. Like I wouldn't try that. And like in a lot of cases too, and this is just from red teaming and all that, sometimes you don't want a golden ticket. You just want enough to get by. So you don't want to make a lot of noise and, you know, so you might want to just do a silver ticket attack or something like that.
there's probably a lot of white ones too. Like there's a lot
It can be, but it depends on how mature they are. So, which means more money. Mature equals money, you know, essentially. All right, any questions? Thank you, those were good questions, by the way. 10 minutes, okay, woo, all right. Yeah, we got a boogie. All right, so yeah, some best practices here. Implement least privilege, we talked about that. Getting what you need and need only. Authentication methods, strong authentication methods. You know, maybe even using a little MFA, which I'll get into. Regularly update and patch your systems, monitor, audit, okay? And then, yeah, we can do, you know, restrict certain credential use, network segmentation, you heard me over and over again with that. Regular audits, penetration testing, and then, yeah, endpoint detection as well. Make sure you got that network monitoring, though, too, as well. All right, so MFA, okay, this is a good one here. So obviously, yeah, MFA is great. It's the new, I wouldn't say new hotness, but it's here to stay. All right, we are required at my job to use it. There's no getting around it. All right, but it provides that extra bit for authentication and all that good stuff. All right. So yeah, it helps mitigate some, you know, attacks, right? Social engineering, possibly. All right, credential stuffing, pass the hash, right? You have that hash, but if you don't have that MFA, guess what? You can use that hash all you want. You know, you're not getting by. And obviously, our friends over in compliance and standards, right? We want to make sure, you know, that it helps with our regulatory requirements, security standards, and most important, we don't get fined. You know? All right, money. All right. So, anyone want to take a stab at what happened? No? Okay. All right, so what happened was, though, MFA was working. Cool, all right, great. One thing, though, is they did a little social engineering, all right? So they went around, convinced the user to provide the MFA code, because they did it over the phone. They did that and allowed the team to complete the login process, and bam, they had ownership. Bam.
So like, is MFA? I know MFA bombing is a thing. Is that very common in Active Directory environments, or is that just towards social engineering?
Well, it's used in Active Directory environments. You can set it up and everything. But yeah, it's used in social engineering, and some big attacks like MGM, all that, they were able to bypass MFA, you know, with their methods. They didn't specifically convince the user to provide the code, but like, for instance, they did what we call SIM resets. You know, they call up the provider. If they do enough correct open source intelligence, intel gathering on the person, they provide that info to the phone carrier. Okay. And that's what you do, is you call up and say, hey, I got a new phone and all, I just want to configure this.
That's scatter spread. I think that's
yes.
scatter spread is CTP.
I'm actually just starting an engagement next week, doing that specifically, you know, scattered spider, you know, with that. Got to call the help desk folks and try at least, you know. I got a feeling they're going to get me, but who knows, we'll see. So yes, but that's how you essentially bypass it, you know, or it's not configured correctly. So yeah, we want to make sure when we do so, I want to train our employees on social engineering, all that good stuff, you know, what right looks like. Select appropriate MFA methods, okay? And enforce it across the organization if you can. At minimum, at least on the important accounts you have around there, at least, you know, at a minimum. Obviously, you want to regularly review, update those configurations. You want to make sure, yeah, your MFA integrates with existing systems you may have, okay? Something to consider. Then good old monitor and report, right? So. With MFA, yeah, the biggest thing too is the configurations. Make sure it's implemented. United Health, everyone aware of them, what happened? So they got breached. They were like, yeah, we got an MFA. Cool, you do. And they looked at it, it was not configured right. So what happens? Your insurance, everything, yeah, you're back at square one, in trouble. So that's the thing. You can have MFA, just make sure it's configured correctly. Please take that away. All right, so insufficient ACLs, network restricted services. So obviously, yeah, access control and Active Directory, it's used to define our roles. You can fine tune what we can't do, you know, all that good stuff. So it's using AD or Active Directory for security, granularity, all that. And this is done through ACEs, access control entries. So whoop. I didn't have anything on that one, odd. All right, well, anyway, some of the things we can do, but it was on there. Obviously, we want to best practices. Yeah, excuse me, I've been blabbing at it. Principal least privilege. All right, inheritance management, right? That's when we want to make sure, you know, hey, admins, you know, have access to the folder, you know, up here. Whoop. Okay, let's say this folder here, like that. A little scribble there. The admins. But let's say, hey, we got some information we need to get out to other folks. In this folder here, they want to make sure those people that access, you know, this folder here don't get inherit rights so they can access this folder here. All right, we want to stop that from happening but people don't check up on that, you know. And then obviously, yeah, segmentation of duties, right? That's another good one. And then documentation, change control. That's a big one. I actually ran into that this past summer. I was doing a NAC assessment, network access controls, doing my thing, plugging in things that I shouldn't. And one of the things I got a finding because there was a change in everything. I was able to plug my device in. I was able to start running commands a whole bit. And they were just like, what the? Because everywhere else I went, they were hitting. You know, I was like, oh, awesome. But come to find out, there was changes made, they didn't get through to it, and come to find out, they weren't notified of those changes. So yeah, without that communication, documentation, yeah, I was able to bypass. But they were able to fix it real quick, which was nice. You know, they updated their configurations and good to go. Network share services, who's a little backwards. Okay, so yeah, they were able to identify sensitive data, they were able to find shares, accesses, all that, and they just plundered, took everything. Yeah, stuff containing PII, you know, really bad stuff you shouldn't be able to get. Yeah, tax returns. Like, odd, but I don't know if that was like HR, I don't know. But yeah, so obviously that can be used for later, extortion, social engineering. Poor credential hygiene, all right. So yeah, weak passwords, all that. Unchanged passwords, just keeping those default ones. Storing credentials insecurely, it happens. People like to put on stuff on WordPads, I don't get it. Lack of MFA in this case, and then over permissions or rights. So yeah, a lot of this, they were able to, because of this, they were able to crack passwords galore, Kerberos service accounts, tickets, like I talked about, and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, in 12 hours, one team were like able to crack 80% of all users in Active Directory. So yeah, they had tons of valid credentials. Security measures, strong passwords, right? That's 101. Implement MFA if you can. Regular credential audits, right? We want to make sure we're using strong passwords, all right? No 6-letter stuff, Secure, storage of credentials, all right? My work, we use HashiVault, to store all our creds. Integrated, with existing systems, make sure, okay, it can be used, whatever you do. Education is big, right? Teaching your employees password strength and all that. And then, monitor and respond to credential compromise. Yeah, so last one, unrestricted code execution. Yeah, this can lead to a bunch of things. Privileged escalation, which can lead into malware, ransomware, lateral movement, right? This can all, data exfiltration, the worst, I think, case scenario. And even persistent mechanisms. So a lot of the time, the teams were on there. They found all sorts of goods within the networks, whether it be executables, dynamic link libraries, you name it. And they use that to execute and get higher privileges, you name it. So what can we do? Group policy restrictions, right? Use that group policy. Application whitelisting, right? Only allowing those applications on your systems, to be used. We do this at work ourselves. User access control, making sure those, allowing access to those important accounts, as needed. Restricted administrative access, again, integration with existing systems, excuse me, and then security hardening. So in conclusion, just be on the lookout, for those things like, the credential hygiene, weak MFA. These are like, I'd like to say low-hanging fruit, but through practices, regular audits, strong password policies, a lot of the stuff I went over, you can fix a lot of this stuff, this low-hanging fruit. But the biggest 2 keys are being proactive and just, continuous monitoring. You got to keep up on it. You just can't, all right, we're good, and 2 years later, no, too late by then. Got to always review, monitor. That said, some of my resources and my GitHub, I get more in depth here. There's a lot of information for the time we had, as you can see today. But I get more in depth. And I also have some PowerShell audit stuff you can run on your systems to check for some of these things. And that is it. Any questions? No? All right. Thank you for coming to my talk. Thank you, everybody. All right.